This episode is sponsored by Visual Media. Are you an entrepreneur or a small business looking to take your brand to the next level? Then Visual Media is the service for you. Visual Media is a video production company who specializes in creating high quality visual content for social media, websites, and online courses. Head over to Visual Media on Instagram and drop Resilience in their DM to get started. That's VZUALMEDIA underscore to get started. What's up, everyone? This is Resilience in Action with Erin Brown, the number one podcast for anyone looking to have a greater human experience. What's going on, everyone? This is Resilience in Action with Erin Brown, and our guest today is a special certain someone, April Harley. April, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Of course, of course. So, April, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I have a degree in human resources. Mm-hmm. I'm a manager for a big corporation that shall not be named. I'm a cat mom. I'm a baker during baking season, which is right now. Yeah.
During baking season. So is baking season like only a set time?
Yeah, it's September 22nd, first day of fall, till probably January 1st, then I'm done.
Is that like is that like is that just a you thing?
Probably.
Yeah, I'm like, because people bake to like relieve stress and just baking just because they like to bake, but you only bake from September 22nd to January 1st. What is your favorite thing to bake?
Probably cupcakes or like mini cakes. Like
mini bundt cakes?
No, like a 6-inch cake. I don't want to do a full cake. I want to do a single size cake.
So you're baking for one.
Yeah.
So you just like just enough, just enough to get hit that sweet spot, huh?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Oh my gosh. This episode is gonna be awesome. I cannot wait. April, let me see, where do I want to start? Oh man. Okay. So let's start from the very beginning. Okay. How was your growing up? How was your upbringing? What did that consist of?
So I grew up in Greenville, South Carolina, which is maybe like 45 minutes outside of Asheville. I was raised by a single dad, which is different. Most people, it's a single mom. Me, it was a single dad. He did his best. I have an older brother and an older sister. My brother is 34. Yes, 34. My sister, 2. So I was definitely the accident child. They're like 2 years apart. 7 years later, I showed up. Yeah, it was interesting. My siblings were interesting growing up. They were just a lot. So I was just the good kid.
You mean like growing up, like they had your dad like doing a bunch, like they
doing the most.
Doing the most. It's usually one troubled child. So your dad had 2 troubled children.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. He had his hands full.
Yeah, and they were a lot.
So you had to step into the role of the good kid.
Yeah. So I remember probably as early as like 5, people, my siblings included, aunts, uncles, whatever, would always say, okay, like your brother and sister are like really bad, so you have to be the good kid. You have to make your dad proud. You have to, you have to be the one to graduate high school. You have to be the one to go to college. You have to like build this life for yourself, because their expectations for my brother and sister were like 0. So it was drilled into me, you need to make your dad proud because no one else is doing it.
No one else did. Oh my goodness. Why do you think your older brother and sister, why do you think they acted the way they acted?
So my parents divorced literally probably 6 months after I was born. And my brother and sister were 9 and 7 at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So they were, went through the divorce, saw all the things. And during that time, my mom she was cheating on my dad. She was involved in drugs, things like that. And luckily for me, my dad had, he got custody of all of us, but I was too young to want a say, obviously,
Yeah.
because a newborn. And I think he like officially got custody of me when I was 2. But obviously I didn't like want or have a say. And as we got older, my brother and sister, started going to my mom's, and like my dad didn't keep them from her, but I never did that because I just wasn't interested. And then when I did meet her, I was probably 8, 9, and I kind of saw what I needed to see, and I still wasn't super interested in like being there all the time like they were.
Yeah.
So I just only my dad to look up to, and I didn't know anything different, where I think they went through the divorce, but my mom was also not the best person at the time.
Gotcha. So they were probably acting out just what divorced the thing that divorce brings when you have children involved.
Yeah.
The behavior, the attitudes, probably a little heightened. I mean, obviously teenagers, teenagers. I don't know about you. I was a wild, well, I won't say wild. If I got caught doing half of the stuff that I was doing, yeah, definitely a wild child, but when it came to me and my siblings, like I was probably the chiller one. My sister Courtney, she was definitely the trouble child. She was always doing stuff, rebelling, like just being a rebel. Like my parents weren't divorced. She was just being a rebel. Then my older sister, she was moved out the house and stuff by the time I could even put words together. So yeah. Wow. Okay. So how did you, being labeled as the good child, how did that work in your mind? What did that look like?
Um, I I just knew growing up I could not do the things my siblings did.
Did you want to?
Not really, because
Mm-hmm.
I was so scared of not making my dad proud. I was so scared to end up like them that I was like too scared to do those things. So I just like remember like once grades started becoming really important, like my dad would give me like $5 for every A and like, $3 for every B. And like I would just be so upset if I ever got below a B. Like I would just like lose it. And like things don't come that didn't come easily to me in school. Like I really had to study and work for it. So if I wasn't perfect, it really got to me. And then in high school, especially, like I really felt the pressure. Like I have to like go to college. I have to get a good degree. I have to get a good job, because like that's when I felt more pressure than ever, because when I was in high school, both of my siblings were in jail. So it was kind of like, you go to college while they're doing that. So,
Wait a minute.
yes,
So, so
I met troubled children.
wait. So both of your older siblings were in jail when you were
Both,
in high school.
yes, both of my siblings have been in and out of jail since they were probably 16.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you really, really had to show up and be the good child. Like there was no Did you ever find yourself in a situation that wasn't good, and then like were absolutely petrified?
Yeah. So, and when I was in high school, I was probably 15. Hung out with my friends, went to like a birthday sleepover, whatever. They started smoking, and was I gave in easily to peer pressure. So I did it, and I remember my dad was coming to pick me up, and I sprayed like probably a bottle of perfume on myself, and like the guilt was eating me alive. I'm like, he's going to pull on me. He is going to know what I did. Everything I've done up until this point doesn't matter. I just screwed up. He never found out.
So you never told him?
I never told him.
I thought you were about to lead right into like as soon as I got into the car, I just couldn't take it.
No, told him. And I remember when I was 18, I got my tattoo. I didn't tell him about that. I lied at first and said it was a henna tattoo. Obviously, eventually he found out. He's not stupid, but even that, I was like, he's gonna be mad at me. He
But at
wasn't.
this time, you're 18.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's still like it didn't matter to me. I over like only the past couple years have I started to be like, okay, he's fine. Like,
Gotcha. And okay, so the past couple of years, how did April get from being really, really hard on herself and trying to be the good kid to, you know what, I'm gonna live my life and show up for myself? What happened in the between time?
so, okay, the best way I can describe this is I think part of me having to mature at a really young age because my dad was just too busy with other things for me to just be a normal kid, which, like I said, he did his best. But it also, like, it was kind of lonely. So I had a habit also of settling for relationships that were less than what they should have been. And I think the thing that really propelled me into who I am now to be like, okay, I don't have to settle. I don't have to worry about what my dad thinks is when my engagement ended. That was like, I became a completely different person.
Mm, your engagement ended.
Yes.
What? How long were you engaged for?
Engaged for 2 years.
You were engaged for 2 years and your engagement ended
Yes. Last
abruptly.
abruptly, very abruptly. Within like 30 minutes, it was like I found out he was cheating, and then he was out of my house not even 30 minutes later. So,
Wow. So, okay, so you said you settled because you were lonely, so you settled for relationships that probably weren't what they should have been, what you knew know you deserved.
yeah,
Was that one of those relationships?
100%. Looking back at it, finding out he was cheating on me is the best possible thing that could have happened to me. Just because even outside of that, the relationship wasn't healthy, wasn't good. um I think part of me, wanting to like people please was that I very much took care of him. Like he moved into my house, like I helped him find like his job post military, like I just did everything for him, and expected nothing in return, and it really wasn't a partnership, it was me taking care of him.
You mothered him.
100%.
Yeah. Gotcha. So okay, so people pleasing, you got to be the good kid, dealing and settling for in relationships that you deserve better. How did you like what happened when you knew you deserved better? Like, okay, so you got the engagement broken off. Did you go to therapy or was there anything in between there that helped you get through that?
Well, yeah, so I've been in therapy since like 2018, and I've gone a lot. And the thing about therapy is it doesn't work unless you do.
Mhm.
A lot of work, and I think a lot of people don't realize that at first, just how much work you have to do outside of that session and inside. Um, so like I had kind of healed like my people pleasing tendencies, except for in relationships. I kind of like started to get over imposter syndrome, childhood trauma, like really just bringing all that up and talking about it had been kind of healed. But I guess I didn't realize until the engagement ended how much work I still had left to do.
Yeah.
And I've worked so hard on all these other things, but I was still settling for less. I was still unsure of myself sometimes. And so I think when I realized how much work I still had left and was in therapy, that's when it started clicking for me. Like, this is my life and I've got to make it the best I can because I've already done all these things. So I just need to do the rest.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Therapy is big. Therapy is definitely something that helped me and helps tons of people just cope with life, because sometimes life is just heavy. Life can get difficult. So having that outlet, an unbiased person that you can go to and talk to, and they're licensed and they're professional in whatever it is that they're doing to help you. Is there a specific assignment, a specific tool that your therapist used that really, really helped you break through?
Yeah, so I actually just at the beginning of September finished trauma therapy, and it was
Traumatic.
probably it was probably one of the most intense things I've ever done. It required a ton of homework. But when you do that, you do like all these different handouts. The one that was most beneficial for me was challenging like problematic thoughts and your stuck points. So the whole theory is when you have trauma, you have stuck points, like thoughts in your brain that you can't get out of, things you wholeheartedly believe. So like you write down your thought, like what you believe to be true, how much you believe it to be true. Then you start challenging it. Is this a thing? Is this a fact? What's your evidence for it? What's your evidence against it? Like, is this a habit? Is like, what are you not considering? What are the different outliers? Like, okay, what happens if it is true? And you just write down every single thing to like challenge it. And there's like 13 different questions you have to ask yourself about this thought, but it really challenges the negative thoughts you have and where you're stuck.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good, because I think at one point or another, everyone suffers from those negative thoughts, especially negative self-talk. So that is a great tool that I'm sure has helped you like tremendously in realigning, or maybe not even realigning, but finding who you are. It's what it sounds like is that for darn near for your entire life, you've lived someone else's shoes. You've walked in someone else's shoes, should I say. So I guess in the past few months, you've been at the shoe store trying on your own shoes, right?
Yeah.
And taking a walk around the block and really, really getting to know you. Gotcha. Okay.
It also just kind of separates who you are from the trauma, because I think a lot of people carry their trauma as who they are. Like, this thing happened to me, so this is my personality, and I do these things because of my trauma. And letting that go, you do have to figure out, oh, okay, who am I outside of all the things that have happened? Like, because there's someone underneath that.
Gotcha. And also looking at it, like, a lot of people use their trauma as a crutch. It's their excuse. Just like I'm a Gemini, so I get to act like an ass, right? I'm a Gemini, so I get to, this is always who I've been. When that's not true, and you can also change it. That's not fact, shall I say. Maybe that is all you've ever been, but only you can change that,
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So I want to go back a little bit, because April, so you were the good kid, right? Were you ever the bad kid? Like, have you ever been in a position that and maybe not as a child, maybe like as an adult. Like, have you ever done any stuff that was just like, yo, I could not believe I just did that? Hey, hey, hey. If you're enjoying this content, do not forget to rate and review. Wherever you're listening to this podcast, be sure to rate and review. It helps us reach more people in more ways. Now, let's get back to some resilience.
100%. I think especially like from like 19 to 22, I don't know who that was. Like, I don't know. I did some really questionable things. Like I went to music festivals and would just stay drunk for 4 days at a time, and that was cool with me. Like, I, have tried way more than I ever expected to try in my life, but it was just like, yeah, I have put myself in some questionable situations from that age period.
You've learned a lot about yourself, huh? It's like that's who I used to be. I'm no longer that person.
We don't
talk about Bruno, right? I'm cracking up. Oh man, okay. All right, so you are 25. 25. Okay. What does 25-year-old April have to say to 5-year-old April?
Oh God. You're gonna be good. You're gonna make mistakes. The expectation to be perfect is unrealistic, but showing up and you doing your best makes people proud, makes people, they see you no matter what. And you're gonna do some stupid things, but you'll get there. Like you will get there. Just keep going.
That's exciting. That's exciting. I don't think I've ever asked that question, and that just came out of nowhere. Okay, so what does 25-year-old April have to say to 19-year-old April?
You know what? She deserved that phase. She deserved it. Live it up. Experience those things. But eventually we're going to get it together and like actually start healing. So like that phase was deserved. She had her moment, but let's not carry on.
was that your rebellious phase? Like yeah. Gotcha. I think we all have something like that, at one point or another. Even like kids who grew up like regular as heck, they have like both parents, and they're not rich but they're not poor, stuff like that. Even they have that phase where they're just like, freak all of this, it's lit, YOLO.
Yeah.
What does future April look like? What is future April doing?
Oh man. I don't think we'll ever be done with therapy. I think it's an ongoing journey because, like you said, it's just good for life. Even some weeks I don't have a ton to talk about, I still just want to talk. So I don't know. She's healing. She's fine. She's gotten past all of her trauma. She's found someone nice and normal, and she's in a healthy relationship. And yeah, I just want her to be happy and like content and not stressed.
Gotcha. Happy and content. Are you currently stressed?
Not necessarily. I guess I see the future of myself, so I know I'm not there yet. So I'm like happy, but I'm not content, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. All right. If you could, and this is another random question, right? If you could choose your dream job, like what would it be?
Nothing.
April does not want to work, y'all. She said, prepare the others because I won't be there.
think I could not work. Honestly, it would still be in human resources, but I've actually thought so many times about doing social work instead, just to help kids who are in difficult home situations. So I think that would be like something eventually. I don't know. That's something I'd have to kind of mentally and emotionally prepare myself for because I hear so many horror stories about like what they see and go through, and they're not compensated well for it at all.
Yeah. I mean,
Eventually.
you've seen Case 30. No, you probably haven't. Case 39, I encourage you to watch it, especially because it's spooky season and it's a spooky movie. So, Case 39, after you watch it, we're going to have to get back together and tell me what you think. And tell me if you still want to be a social worker.
Okay, thank you. You're gonna scare me off my dream job.
No, I mean, the likelihood of this scenario happening is like, it depends on what you believe in. But it is a really, really good movie.
What we say in Is it possible? Yes. Is it likely? No.
Again, it 110%. it it completely depends on what you believe in. If you believe that this type of thing could happen, then it can. Then it can. Like, I mean, but again, it's a very, very extreme point, but there could be some truth within it. So it'll be that conversation will be interesting. Um, what what is one thing that you would share? One tip, one strategy, one something that could help someone who is suffering from imposter syndrome?
Um, One thing I had to do a lot was just write down all the work I did to get to where I was. Like, how many hours did I spend in therapy? How many hours did I spend in school? Like, what were my grades? Just whatever it was that I was like, I don't deserve this. I'm like, people are going to find me out. Like, I just got lucky. I just wrote down all the work I'd already done. Like, everything that I knew to be a fact that I physically did because I know I was there. So there's no way I could be faking it because I was there for those things. That was my biggest thing. And I mean, I hung it on my mirror for the longest time where I just looked at it every day. Like, I did these things. I'm supposed to be here. Like, I deserve this. This is real.
So not looking for validation anywhere else except inside. I like that. I
Yeah.
like that. That's self-validation. So often we are caught in the web of relying on other people to bring us happiness, to validate us, to affirm us when we can't even value what anyone else is saying because we don't believe that for ourselves.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great tool. That's a gem, that's a bar. Like, if you're struggling with imposter syndrome or anything along those lines, I think that tip was definitely or will definitely be effective and beneficial for you to add to your routine. And speaking of routines, do you have a routine, a daily ritual, a nightly ritual, something that you do consistently that helps you have a greater human experience?
Yeah, so every morning I wake up probably like an hour before I really need to. I'll have my coffee, like just sit and chill for a minute, but I journal every morning. And the things that I journal is I do affirmations, gratitudes, intentions. So I do 4 or 5 affirmations for the day. Then I do 5 things I'm grateful for that day. And then I do 5 things like that I'm setting forth for my day, like what I intend to do, what kind of day I want to have. And it helps me a lot every morning, just getting a better mindset for my day.
what have you, when you find yourself maybe a little blocked for time, or you didn't do it that morning, can you tell, like, do you feel a difference within yourself?
I can tell when I'm off my routine in any kind of capacity. Over the past year, that's something that's like really been important to me, is like sticking to my routines and like doing them intentionally, because it's how I pour into myself. So especially with my job, if I don't pour into myself before I go in, and then I'm expected to pour into other people all day, I feel so much more irritable, so much more tired at the end of the day. Like I think others can also probably tell what I haven't poured into myself.
Others probably definitely can. Probably definitely can tell when April has not poured into April the way she needs to, and the way she should, the way she deserves to. Yeah,
I'll make
probably.
it a problem.
I'm cracking up right now. Oh, I didn't expect this interview to be. It's not even hard. It's not even hard. I'm just trying to keep it together. Just trying to keep it together. what what does April love to do? Like, outside of work, just by yourself or whatever. Like, what is something that you really enjoy doing?
So, like my perfect day off, right? I'm off for the day. I'm still gonna get up early. I'm always up by like 7. I really just can't help it. Um, if it's a Sunday, I love going to the lake. I love walking around the lake. It's so quiet, so peaceful. Um, have my cup of coffee. I love doing like a Sunday reset as well. Like I deep clean my house, like do my laundry, like all those like tedious tasks I love. Um, go to Target, go to Starbucks, the basic things. um, but then I love going to the gym every day. If I don't go, that's another thing like that I'm not pouring into myself really affects me, just because it's an hour of just me, my thoughts. I put my phone on do not disturb. It makes me feel good. I love doing that. I love cooking, baking, especially during this season. I just like being intentional every day. I like being intentional with what I do and how it's making me feel, and just doing things for myself and pouring into myself.
Um, and I think, what am I trying to say? Not I think, but your ability to pour into yourself so much now. Do you think you'd have that ability if you had a different upbringing?
Probably not, because I think it wouldn't have been something I had to think about. And
Mm.
when that was ever conscious in my mind, which I'm learning about a lot of things right now. Like I'm doing things very consciously that I never thought I would have to think about. And I do now, and it's for the best. Like I love knowing that I do those things. And it also, I feel like I can like tell other people, like, okay, like just be intentional. Like just like it's fine to be intentional for yourself. But I don't think I would have had to ever think about it. So probably not.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, I didn't want to assume. I felt like I knew the answer, but I also, I didn't want to assume, because you could have said something totally different, and I would have been like, oh, I'm wrong in my head. Okay, all right. What what is your goal for this upcoming year? What does 2023 entail? And it doesn't have to be anything crazy, but
Yeah.
something that maybe you've been thinking about for a while, and you're like, you know what, I want to put the wheels in motion.
Um, Definitely stay on my gym game, my eating healthy game. I don't like, okay, I hate making New Year's resolutions. I hate them so much. So I'm not a New Year's resolution kind of person. Um, Definitely that though. I'm trying to read more. It's going pretty well. I'm trying to read more. And my main thing is to spend less time on my phone. I'm on my phone all the time. I like want to throw it in a river. Like I love it so much.
And also, I mean, I feel like being an HR, a specialist, your phone is constantly going off.
Yeah. Yeah. 24/7, literally 20. Right before I hopped on this call, I had a work call. So,
Oh my gosh. One day, April's phone will not be tied to work in this capacity. In
yeah.
this capacity, it'll be tied up in work that, not that you don't enjoy what you do, because I think I'm sure you do,
Yeah.
but I think we all deserve to live life fully and experience it fully. And so often we get tied to our job without really being able to step away and actually live and experience life the way we're supposed to. So
Yeah, I think one of my biggest personality traits to other people is how much I work. Like, it's very much just like, oh yeah, April works all the time. Like, she's always on her phone with work. Like, she's always there. So that's, to other people, one of my main personality traits for sure.
okay, how about blah, blah, blah. What about yourself? How would you describe yourself in 3 words?
Um, Goofy. I'm a little bit goofy. I'm very caring. Um, a little bit spicy, like just goofy, caring, spicy nice.
Hey. Did you know I wrote a book? It's called The Value Method: 5 Steps to Unlocking Your Greatest Potential. And in it, I share just that: 5 wildly easy, actionable steps that will set you up to have a greater human experience daily. I've included interactive worksheets and small assignments at the end of each chapter. You're literally creating a living blueprint of your best life. Be sure to check out the show notes for the link to purchase your copy and a copy for a friend.
Um,
Spicy nice. Okay, for anyone who has no idea what that is, can you tell the people what spicy nice is?
yeah, okay, so I saw it on a post and I was like, I'm not mean, I'm just a little spicy nice. Like, I don't think I'm ever mean to people, but I think I bring a little bit of spice in a really loving way. Like, I'm gonna say what's sometimes it doesn't come out loving. Sometimes it can come out a little spicy.
A little spicy. Okay. So y'all, April is goofy, caring, and spicy nice.
Spicy nice.
I'm cracking up with little jalapeno. But no cayenne, just jalapeno. Maybe some ground black pepper, some red crushed pepper. Dying. April, what um what what do you have to say that you would want to say if it was, no, not, let me reword that. Give me 1 second. What is the one thing that you want people to know that holds true in everybody's life across the board? What is one truth that you know that other people must know? They have to.
I think this can be controversial. I don't believe or accept the phrase, you have to love yourself before you can love someone else. I don't accept it. I don't like it. I say you can love someone and not love yourself, but you will never accept healthy love and the love you deserve until you know healthy love yourself. So, yes, to get healthy love, to get what you deserve, you have to love yourself, but you can love others without loving yourself. And that's where the issue lies.
It sounds like we're gonna have to do a part 2, because first of all, you threw me for a loop. Like, I had to take a drink because that was spicy.
Yeah.
That was spicy. So you can love others without loving yourself.
Mhm.
Go further. If you do you have time to go further for
Yeah.
that? Okay.
Yeah. So I just don't think it's true based on like myself.
Life experience, like lived experience. Okay.
Yeah, like I have wholeheartedly loved other people and poured into other people without ever showing myself that love or loving myself or caring for myself. So I think you can love others with your full being and not love yourself. But I do not think that you will have a healthy love. I don't think it'll be fulfilling to you if you don't love yourself first. So you can do it, but it's not going to be healthy. So
Unhealthy love. Is that love?
yeah, I mean, I think so.
Yeah.
I There's different levels of love. Like obviously everyone wants a healthy, long last, but I think that still it's you can still love someone. It doesn't mean you're meant to be together or it's healthy or like I don't know, I love my mother. I really do. That's not a healthy relationship I have. Doesn't make me love her any less. But I know that's not healthy because the love she can give me isn't healthy because she doesn't love herself. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Do you disagree?
I I do not believe that you can love anyone like and like at like a deep and also let me see if I've ever experienced anything like this because you're speaking from experience and I asked you like a fact that you know.
Yeah.
um so I might have to think about that because I personally don't think you can love someone if you don't love yourself. I think it's a disservice and you're not honoring yourself if you can't show up for yourself in a way that you know you deserve. How do you show up for someone else? I feel like you can explain that.
Yeah, so it just goes back to being a people pleaser and it I have loved people and like wanted to just do things for them because I didn't love myself enough to do it for me. Like I love my dad, so I wanted to make him proud, so I did all these things. I made the grades, I went to college, I graduated, I got a good job, like I did all these things because I loved him. I wanted him to be proud of me. And never once was I really doing those things for myself. Do you know what I mean? So like I was still showing up for him. I was still doing these things because I loved him. It was never about me. And that was a disservice to myself, but it doesn't mean I didn't love him.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I love the perspective. I love that. I love the challenge.
Yeah.
Um there's so many people that you can have discussions with, right? And they'll say something and you'll be like, I don't agree. And then they'll say something like, I don't agree. And then the disconnect is being able to talk it through, like being able to speak it through and have that conversation, have that dialogue that I still don't think you can love someone, but that does not invalidate your feelings. And
Yeah.
I hope that does not, I hope you don't feel that.
Oh no.
Last thing I want to do is invalidate anybody's feelings on my podcast. That is horrible. Um, that is such a horrible host of me. Like, your feelings, your experience is trash. Boom. Like, I don't believe you. Like, that's horrible. Um, but okay, so you can 100% love someone and not love yourself.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Okay.
But I'm very firm in the fact that you won't accept the love you deserve or a healthy love until you do love yourself.
But you have to get to that love first, in order to really, really appreciate it, accept the love that you deserve.
Yeah. And know what to look for because if you're not showing yourself healthy love, if you don't know what that looks like because you don't love yourself, you don't know what to look for in other people for them to give that to you.
So are you navigating that now?
I am. I'm very consciously dating, and just trying to not fall into unhealthy relationship patterns. So
yeah. Have you been successful so far? Time will tell. I am done with you.
I think with the person I'm seeing, so far so good. It's taken a lot of work on my end to think about things consciously, and I think I said this to you, is like, okay, my feelings are valid, but they're not his problem. So not making my feelings someone else's problem when it's based in a feeling and not a fact, and also just trying to communicate, and knowing when to expect someone else to be on the same level, or to know when I'm overthinking. So
okay, awesome. April, I have one final question for you. This one, ready?
Yep.
All right, cool. So what is your relationship with resilience?
I think the things that I have gone through and seen as a child, and even into my adult life, I think resilience for me is not simply surviving what you've gone through, but thriving from it and knowing that you're capable of doing that.
Gotcha. Resilience in action. Fire. Okay. All right. April, thank you so much for coming on a podcast, finding time in your very, very busy HR specialist day to spend a little bit of time, share a little bit of your story, your systems, and your strategies of resilience in action.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thanks for tuning into this week's episode. If you enjoyed it, be sure to rate and review. And remember, resilience in action will always lead to a greater human experience.